Good afternoon, it's just 4 minutes past 12 on Wednesday the 1st of August. I've come across to Snitterfield Reservoir today for a spot of float fishing. Firstly, I'm after some tench and some crucians again. Last couple of visits here I've only caught a couple of the smaller ones. There are a few bigger ones in here. I'm just hoping to get lucky and catch a couple of the bigger ones, and then later on I'm going to do some carp fishing because there's some good carp in here. There's grass carp over 20 pounds and there's some good mirrors and commons as well. So a little bit later on I'll probably be putting away the float rods, break out the carp gear, which is back in the car, and bait up a couple of spots in the meantime, and then a little bit later on, probably this evening after 4 o'clock-ish or so, 4-5 o'clock, I'll have a go for the carp, see if I can catch myself a decent carp. But in the meantime, as I said, it's tench and crucians. Float fishing, I've just got a 13-foot match rod, 3-pound line straight through, and I've got a small 2BB waggler on here with a bulk shot around the bottom, small insert waggler, with a quick change adapter if I want to change. I've got 3-pound straight through, and a split shot about 6 inches from the hook, and number 4. I'm going to start with that. I'll move that up and down, might break it down, put a couple of number 8s on or something, and I'll start with that. I've also got my centre pin reel with me here as well on a short 11-foot rod. I might fish with the centre pin for a bit of fun a little bit later on because I'm not very far out at all. I've got 6 pound on that at the moment, but I've got another spool in here that I can change. And for loose feed, I've got some hemp seed, which I'm going to put a few grains in every cast, build up the swim, and I've got some party blend as well, which I'm going to put in a little bit later on when I bait up a couple of spots for the carp. So that's what I'm planning to fish. And on the hook I've got some soft hooker pellets that I'm going to fish with today. 2 types. I've got one that's a krill and one that's just a fish meal, and I've also got a tin of sweet corn back in the car if that fails, and I'll perhaps fish with sweet corn. Had a chat to the bailiff when I arrived. He pulled up at the same time, and he was telling me that of an evening time a lot of the carp get caught close in quite often. That's how I sort of figured it, because looking at the shape of the reservoir, it's a concrete bowl and it just goes down. There's a gradual slope, and then about a rod length out it just drops off to sort of about 12 foot deep, and then it just goes off and it gets deeper and deeper. So they're either going to be feeding on these concrete slopes, or they're going to be feeding at the bottom of the ledge there, I would have imagined, especially in the evening once it quietens down, because that's where everybody's bait is. Anyway, we'll see a little bit later on and we'll see if I'm right. I better make a start and get fishing. Right, I've got a soft pellet on. I've been chucking out a few bits of a few grains of hemp. I'll have that first cast. I'm not in what would have been my first choice of swim, I've got to confess. I'd rather have been nearer the lilies and some of the bushes, but there's other people all fishing along there, so as I want to film, I don't want to be too close to them, it would be unfair. Little bit of breeze blowing into this bank, which is quite nice. Disgorgers at the ready, not because I'm using barbless, not because I'm using barbed hooks, but because I'm using barbless. But with them being small, when they take them down inside, it's a bit difficult to get my fingers down their mouths to extract the hooks. Just keep putting about half a dozen grains of hemp in every cast. I'm starting off laying on the bottom at the moment, but if I start getting bites on the drop, I'll obviously change the shotting pattern and probably shallow up the float, but I'll start there first of all. I'm sure I can coax a few fish into here. There's a few people here today. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which doesn't seem like many, but when they're spread out, it takes up quite a bit of space when you want to film. It's only a small reservoir anyway. I'd guess it's not much more than probably 6 acres, I'd have thought. I can see some little boils in the water, so there are a few fish about. Oh, there's the first pluck at the float. I missed that one. That's encouraging now. There's a lot of other species in here, as you've seen before. Roach, skimmers, it's quite famed for. A few bigger bream as well, but I expect we'll get our share of those. I expected the water to be really coloured actually with algae, but it's quite clear. Looks more or less like it did the last time I came over, just very brackish. Yes. Oh, this is going well, whatever it is. Got a nice bend in the rod. Ah, there are some slightly bigger tench in here. Took me by surprise for a few minutes. Oh. I'm having to use my ridiculously big net today because I must confess I forgot to grab my bag with a little net in, and as I was planning to carp fish later, I'd put all the carp gear in, and I'd obviously put this in as well, so Hence that's why I've got the big unhooking mat as well. Certainly lively, but compared to my last few trips here when it'll let me get hold of them, it is a he. Oh, sounds like somebody's caught something big over the other side. They're hollering for a big net. But yes, compared to my last God, he's lively. Last few trips over here, this is a monster compared to some of those. Hold still and present yourself nicely, please. It's tensed up all the time. But yes, there we go. Yes, that's big compared to my last few trips over here. See little slicks coming up off of the hemp seed and that, so something's obviously rooting around down there. A little bit of weed on the bottom actually, it's quite surprising. I think somebody's just caught a carp over there now by the excitement and calling for borrow a big net and some scales. Oh, there's another car, somebody's dropping some gear off. And looks of things. Right, now I've had a bite to eat, I'll resume. Oh, they're still doing the post-mortem on that carp that pleasure angler caught by accident. That's a good fish. Nice little tench again. Seems silly having to use this giant net for them, but don't really want to swing them in on this. Still, first two fish of the session have both been tench, so that's an absolute excellent start. There we go. Little female, this one. When it's calmed down. You know, I've caught tench to double figures in the past from waters. I did a lot of specimen hunting when I was a bit younger and that, but in this size they're no different, no less perfect, and certainly for the future of this water in a few years time, it's when they all sort of start getting that 3-4 pound plus, it's going to be absolutely wonderful. funny because I'm trying to keep my eye out on the rest of the reservoir as well. Yes. Yeah, it's another little tench. I think I can risk swinging this one in my hand. Come on, you. Terribly hard to hang on to. What little bars of soap compared to the bigger ones. Anyway, let's slip you back. Keep feeding. Half a dozen grains of corn, 1 or 2 pellets every now and again. Sorry, not half a dozen grains of corn, half a dozen grains of hemp and 1 or 2 pellets every now and again. I'll perhaps switch the camera off shortly and put it back on when I do get something bigger. I was just trying to have something to eat. I've just got another small tench, but at least it's all tench this time. Went quiet for a little bit. I thought something bigger had moved in. I was about to change over to the centre pin reel just in case it was a carp that had moved in, but then I got this bite. I said only small, but wonderfully good fun. On light gear. Absolutely pristine they are. Right, I'll just put that back. I don't know which is the worst part about this time of year. July and August have always, well, certainly the first couple of weeks of August have always been very dog months as far as I'm concerned on the fishing calendar. It's usually far too warm for a lot of things, and I don't know which is the worst though, the heat or the flies, or insects should I say. That's better, a bit more positive. Oh, that's going well too. That must be a slightly bigger one perhaps. Slightly. Come on. I didn't bring a keep net today. If I had done, I'd had a good little net of tench at the end. Yes. Well, I think that's 6 or 7 tench, one after another. Not very big, I'll grant you, but I'm still quite amazed. Come on, you. Right, I think I'll turn the camera off for a bit until I start getting a few fish. I'm going to wander back to the car a moment, get my big hat because the back of my neck's burning, and get myself a drink and stuff. I'll talk to you guys shortly. It's just gone 3 o'clock. I'm going to give it about another hour, and then I'm going to pack this gear away and probably go and get my carp gear from the car and get set up for carp fishing. While I was sitting here a couple of moments ago, there's an absolute huge cluster of bubbles coming up just over by the lilies here. There's definitely 1 or 2 carp feeding over there. Well, I've hooked into something a little better. Yes, it is a little crucian at long last. Thought so by the way it was fighting. I've missed 1 or 2 fish. I've bumped off of. I've had a check. The hook's sharp enough. It's just the pellet masking the hook a little bit. But anyway. I was plodding along for ages. I've made a few adjustments and one thing or another, and to the tackle and that. The tench went off. The tench went off. I had a bit of a run of roach for a little while, and just all roach, and then eventually we've got one, little crucian. Was hoping for something a little bit on the larger side, but we'll keep fishing on for a little bit longer, see if we get one before I start carp fishing. There's a bit of activity, a lot of bubbles coming up in the swim now, so it's looking quite good. Anyway, I'll put the camera off a minute while I put this back. Right, I've just it's taken a little while. It went quiet for a bit, but I've got another fish. I'm pretty sure it's a crucian by the way it's fighting. It's fighting reasonably well. I think it might be a little bit bigger than the last one, hopefully. Yes, it is. Now don't come off until I've netted you, because I've waited a long time. Been getting some really slow, well not slow, but quick dips on the float. It's just not been going away doing anything. So I changed the shotting pattern to a couple of number 8s instead of the number 4, and spaced them out a little bit more, shallowed up a little bit, and at long last it seems to have paid off. Yeah, we're not talking marsh farm record portion crucians in here, but all the same I'll just get out of that and take my shadow off of it, but isn't that just absolutely gorgeous? They are absolutely beautiful. Just turn it around the other way so that you can have a look. They are lovely, and in the future when they get to being a couple of pound each or £3 each, they'll be absolutely wonderful. Anyway, I'll put the camera off, pop that back. Yes. Took a little while to get another bite. Yeah, that's a little one. Right, I am going to end the vlog, or this part of the vlog, on the crucian here, and I'm going to put my float gear away and get my carp gear out now. Anyway, once again, thanks ever so much for watching, and until the next time, all the best with your angling.